Good morning and welcome to the Science Magazine program. Forensic biology is being discussed in the news these days, especially in the field of criminal or civil cases. To know more about its application, principles and techniques, listen to this interview with Dr. Amarnath Mishra, Associate Professor, Forensic Science Department, AMITY, NOIDA. Interviewer is Kaushik Roy.
In the studios today, we have with us Dr. Amarnath Mishra, Associate Professor, AMITY Institute of Forensic Sciences, and the topic of today's discussion is forensic science. Dr. Mishra, we would like to know from you that, of course, forensic science is a huge field. And what is forensic biology in that?
We know that forensic science is the application of science and technology in investigation and detection of crime and administration of justice for the court of law. So, forensic biology is the one specialization in forensic science where we study about forensic biological sciences. In forensic biological sciences, when we are talking, so that is forensic biology, that is forensic botany, forensic zoology, forensic entomology, forensic serology, forensic anthropology, forensic odontology, and also DNA type. So, from biological samples, when we are going to analyze for any case, so that comes under the forensic biology. And as we are saying about definition of forensic biology, so forensic biology is application of biological principles. Biological principles like antibody, antigen, or there is some natural characteristics like bar body in hair, root. So on that basis we can analyze the gender and techniques in the investigations of criminal and civil cases. Also in criminal like murder, like sexual assault, like in civil cases also like paternity dispute. It involves the examination of biological evidence to identify victim, like victim in cases of sexual assault, in murder cases, any type of crime where we can find out biological samples. Then suspect, suppose a person conduct any crime like murder or any sexual assault. So in that cases, we can also find out the samples from suspect and we can analyze in forensic science laboratory and establish the relationship with that particular case, and we find out that particular suspect is guilty or not. And also that forensic biology is helpful in reconstructing the events, like what happened one by one. Like in cases of murder case, what happened? There was the dead body found in pieces. So forensic biology correlate that case from refrigerator in the house. There is the body pieces. So also connecting the criminal event.
So what are the key areas of forensic biology?
When we are talking about key areas, so there is a forensic serology. So what happened in forensic serology is the study and examination of body fluids like blood. Blood is there, so that is a peripheral blood. We are talking about peripheral blood. Now my PhD scholar is working on lochia blood. So you know about the menstrual blood in female cases. So lochia blood after delivery, that type of blood also find out. So on that basis we can find out that any abortion cases or any crime happens after delivery. Then seminal fluid. Seminal fluid generally find out in cases of sexual assault. Other cases like saliva. Saliva like in poisoning cases or in other cases urine and vaginal secretion also in sexual assault cases. So what happened? These fluids to help in criminal investigations. How? By correlate. That is the Locard principle. Locard principle say if two objects come into contact, so they leave trace evidences, and that trace evidences in form of serums like blood, seminal fluid, urine, vaginal secretions, and also menstrual blood, and also breast milk. That is also helpful in criminal investigation. It helps in detecting, identifying, and sometimes matching these fluids to a person. And when we are talking about common body fluids, so blood, already I told about that, seminal fluid, saliva, urine, vaginal secretion, etc. After forensic serology, there is forensic entomology. So what happened in cases of forensic entomology? After death, normal 24 to 36 hours, there decompositions. So after decomposition, there is coming of the fly insects. So on the basis of insect, we can find out the time since death. So that is a forensic entomology. In cases of forensic odontology, we are talking about teeth. So what happens if there is the bite marks, or suppose in mass disaster cases when whole body is damaged, only tooth is there. So on that basis, we can also establish the DNA profiling. So DNA profiling, DNA typing is also one of the branch of forensic biological sciences. Then forensic anthropology. You know about the Nithari case. There was a skeleton remains. So and that skeleton remains help that what was the age, what was the gender. So that is very helpful, and all forensic biological evidences are very important to solving any case.
You mentioned about DNA testing, especially when there is a mass accident or something and the victims are not identified, and only maybe, as you rightly pointed out, that tooth remains, and then by doing the DNA analysis, the identity that accident victim can be identified, of so many other reasons also. Now we see, especially in criminal cases, that there is DNA profiling. So Dr. Mishra, I'd request you, for the benefit of our listeners, to shed some light on what exactly is DNA analysis.
DNA typing is very important techniques. When we are talking about blood tests, so blood tests are the traditional methods. Like in mass disaster, when we are talking about recent case, like in Ahmedabad air crash, so what happened for identify the dead body, two very important organization conducted the DNA profiling, and that DNA profiling very few days there was the pendency, and that was very helpful. So DNA can establish the relationship that particular person is relative of someone, daughter or son, parents, so that easily can identify. DNA is also compulsory in cases of sexual assault cases. So in sexual assault cases, that is also mandatory, that performing the DNA profiling for the confirmation. In cases of disputed paternity, so DNA profiling is very robust, and DNA is transferred from one generation to another generation. So there is a nucleoplasmic inheritance as well as cytoplasmic inheritance. So we can easily find out such type of samples. So we can develop the DNA profiling and solve the cases.
Doctor, you also mentioned there are other tests also. And what are the other important tests to, establish the identity of a victim, or for some cases, the identity of the criminal?
DNA profiling is the ultimate identity testing method. I'm talking about blood. So blood can say about blood grouping. So suppose A blood group, B blood group, or O blood group, or AB blood group. So such type of blood group having many of the people. Okay. So that is not very authentic, identified. Gender identification, there is the hair. In hair examination, we can also find this is a male hair or female hair. But there are many people who are male and many who are female. So we can also find out that is blood or not first. Second, if blood, so human origin or animal origin. And if human origin, to blood grouping. Then again we are going for the DNA for the further investigation. Same in cases of seminal fluid, we can identify that is the presence of semen. So on that basis we can further go for the DNA profiling. Like in cases of sexual assault, if there is physical evidences present or any seminal stain or anything, hair like pubic hair present, cloth of victim or body, so can also easily establish presence of that type of physical evidences, and there is the suspected person. So we can also take the samples from the suspected person and we will match from that traditional method. Then we go for the DNA. So DNA authenticity proficiency is 99.99%, and that is very accurate. So other traditional methods is not better than DNA typing. DNA is ultimate, but in cases of bite marks, so we can find out the bite pattern. In cases of bone examination, suppose we have a bone, so bones can say about age, sex, gender, race. But if only sternum bone or small pieces of bone, so we can go for the DNA profiling for the final examination. So in forensic entomology, generally what happens after that, there are different changes. So decomposition starts from around 18 hours in summer season in India. First evidence about decomposition, that is the greenish hue at right iliac fossa. So what happened? Decomposition generally take 24 hours, and in that that cases, there was the smelling from the body, dead body. And that is the reason there is insect attract to the dead body, and we start the study about forensic entomology. So on the basis of different insect come on the body, and there is a reproductive cycle. So on the basis of that, we can find out how many days old that dead body. Forensic entomology is very helpful in cases of establishing the time since death. Now forensic odontology. So forensic odontology generally in cases of fighting, in cases of assault, in cases of sexual assault, there is the bite marks. So on the basis of bite marks, we can easily find out that bite marks particular person. Then after bite marks, with the help of the tooth, we can establish the DNA profiling that is very helpful in cases of missing person, in mass disaster, and also in other cases. When we are talking about forensic anthropology, so forensic anthropology is the study about human bones. So what happened on the basis of the bones when person is growing from childhood to old ages, so there is a different length of the bones, there are different width of the bone, and there are different characteristics. So on the basis of long bones, we can find out about the height of the person. We also know about the age of the person. Also on the basis of sternum bone and pubic bone. So what happened in that cases, we can find out that is male or female. And also in cases of skull, so we can also know about the race. We can also know on the basis of the chin, that is the male skull or female skull. So such type cases we can easily solve. Like in cases of Jallianwala Bagh, so there was the skeleton remains we found. Also in cases of Nithari case, that case solved by the forensic anthropologist, forensic biologist. So that is very helpful in solving the cases. And forensic DNA profiling is the ultimate for the purpose of identification of any dead body, any mutilated dead body, any unknown dead body. Also in cases of heavy flood in Kedarnath, so also dead body identified by the DNA profiling. So in civil cases as well as in criminal cases, we take help of the DNA profiling.
On that note, Dr. Amarnath Mishra, I thank you for joining us in the studios today, and you have shed light on forensic biology in detail. We thank you very much for your presence here and for talking to Akashvani. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you, Mr. Kaushik.
You were listening to an interview on forensic biology, application and techniques. Expert was Dr. Amarnath Mishra, Associate Professor, Forensic Science Department, AMITY, NOIDA, and interviewer was Kaushik Roy.
In a nation as vast as India, where development is one part, disaster is also something which cannot be averted. Disaster can strike in any form. But we are particularly pinning on one particular form of disaster today, which is disaster by lightning. And we are very fortunate to have Colonel Professor Sanjay Srivastava as our guest today. He is an expert in disaster management. Welcome to our studios.
Thank you.
Colonel Sanjay Srivastava, lightning, what is the phenomena behind it and how common it is? Are there any specific regions or areas where there are more such incidents? And if yes, why so?
See, lightning is a very fascinating phenomena, and it has existed since times immemorial. Since the time this civilization, this environment has come up. This is basically an interplay between heat and moisture. The basic ingredient for lightning is heat. So wherever you find warmer land, whenever the monsoon comes, you can expect more lightning. The basic phenomena, if you want me to define lightning, it's basically sudden discharge of very high electrical impulses causing electrocution to the common man or the animal, and they die. But if you really go for in nutshell, the scientific phenomena, whenever there is a heat and the moisture comes, there are thunderstorms, there is updraft. This upward movement of moisture, as we know, once we go up, the temperature starts reducing. Once it crosses sub-zero temperature, this moisture converts into ice particles. We call them graupels. They collide with each other, and due to the friction, electrostatic charge is developed. This electrostatic charge travels down the atmosphere, and that's called lightning. We have two types of lightning. Once it is in the cloud, we call it intercloud or intra-cloud lightning. Once it strikes from sky to the ground, we call it cloud to ground lightning. Lightning is 100% avoidable death. We have the technology and we have the solutions. I must say here that to save yourself from lightning, prevention, that is early warning, and mitigation, that is lightning safe shelter, both are necessity. In India, I had the fortune of developing lightning forecast system in 2008 to 2010 in Jharkhand, which has been nationally replicated through India Meteorological Department and National Remote Sensing Center. So we have satellites, we have radars, we have lightning detection networks, and the electric field mills. These all collectively give you forecast of lightning. We have a modeling center where entire observations are fed and the models gives you the output. Field validation is done and it is given to the common man with a forecast. We are forecasting lightning in multiple forms. One is 3 to 5 days in advance. Second is 24 hours in advance, which is with 95% accuracy. And third is 3 hours to 30 minutes lead time, that is almost 99% accuracy. So this is the early warning time, and everything has been converted into a mobile application, that is AMITY app. If you have a smartphone, wherever you go, it is geotagged and it will give you warning 40 kilometer in advance. It has 3 circles, 40 kilometer to 20 kilometer. So in that it will also give you a message that please search for safe shelter. When it is lightning is 20 to 10 kilometer away, it will give you please occupy safe shelter. And when it is 0 to 10 kilometer, it will say you please occupy shelter ASAP. So it is very interactive, and you will be happy to note that India Meteorological Department, Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, basically Ministry of Earth Science and Ministry of Space, their products have done a wonderful job, magical job, and India is one of the incredible country where lightning forecast is being given so effectively. At the same time, once you get the warning, it is very important that you should know where to go and which is a safe place. So we have the mitigation project on lightning safety, where lightning arresters are installed over the existing buildings like school, panchayat bhavan, or places of public, maximum footfall, or even in your house. If you see the lightning, the maximum losses, 96% plus losses, are in the rural areas. And one of the main reason is that the compliance to the lightning protection device over house or your workplace is lacking. It is as negligible as we are just around 2 to 3% coverage. So our aim is to populate lightning protection devices at the workplace and at your housing. The main cause of casualty is unsafe your workplace, livelihood condition, and unsafe housing.
Mostly we've seen that accidents or the loss. Colonel Professor Sanjay Srivastava, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you.
Narrated by Neela Malkania and produced by Dilip Jha, this broadcast came to you from Indraprastha channel of Akashvani, Delhi.